The question we're going to cover today is how does a federal contractor for goods and services, as opposed to a construction contractor, allocate its employees among affirmative action plans where it has multiple establishments? And how are they allocated under the rules of the Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs, or OFCCP? First, number one, allocating employees among a federal contractor's establishments for purposes of its affirmative action plans is going to require some coordination above the establishment or facility level of the organization, because there are choices or alternatives on where employees may be put in some instances, and these can affect the content and the numbers of the plan. So there's some strategic value at looking at this above the facility level. For instance, this is going to be a question when you have employees who work remotely or at home. The application of these rules is going to receive a whole new level of scrutiny because of the OFCCP's portal that's being implemented, where the OFCCP is going to be able to see an employer's contractor's establishments. Number two, a contractor subject to the affirmative action plan requirements has to develop and maintain a written affirmative action plan for each of its establishments. So the word establishment is the OFCCP's word for a location. So what that means is plans are typically built on a location basis. There is an option to try to have a functional or business unit approach for affirmative action plans, but that's going to require a specific agreement with OFCCP to do that. Otherwise, affirmative action plans are developed on a establishment or facility or location basis. Number three, each employee in the contractor's workforce has to be included in an affirmative action program. Nobody can be left out. So here are the rules on where employees should go when there are multiple plans. Number four, the general rule is that each employee must be included in the affirmative action plan of the establishment or location where he or she or the employee works. And that's the rule, but there are some exceptions. Employees who work at an establishment other than that of the manager to whom they report must be included in the affirmative action plan of their manager. So if the manager is off site for that person, the person would roll into the other affirmative action plan covering the manager. Number six, employees for whom selection decisions are made at a higher level establishment within the organization have to be included in the affirmative action plan of the establishment where that selection decision is made. Number seven, there are also some specific rules, three options, for smaller establishments or locations. So this is for an establishment with fewer than 50 employees. The employees may be included in any one of three options. All right, in an affirmative action plan covering just that establishment, so the small location can have its own plan. Or second alternative, in the affirmative action plan that covers the location of the personnel function which supports the establishment. And then third, in the affirmative action plan which covers the location of the official to whom the employees report. That's similar as my point number 5 above about where the manager is. And number 8, when an employee is included in an affirmative action plan other than where the employee is physically located, this has to be noted in 2 of the affirmative action plans. This is so the OFCCP knows where the employee is, so the employee is covered. First, if the employee is in a plan for an establishment other than the one where the employee is located, then that particular plan itself has to note where the employee's location is. And this would be done in either in the organizational profile, which would be either the organizational display or the workforce analysis. And then also has to be noted in the job group analysis of that plan that the employee is not physically at that location. Number 9, this is the flip side of that. If the establishment where the employee is actually located has its own affirmative action plan, then that plan's organizational profile and that plan's job group analysis must also be annotated to identify where the employee is. So if OFCCP knows that employee is put in a plan somewhere. Number 10, in prior years, most establishments were basically invisible to OFCCP. OFCCP likely knew of the headquarters or some of the large establishments of the employer, but smaller establishments really were under the radar. With the new portal, all an employer's establishments where there are affirmative action plans are going to be visible and may be audited. So this is going to be, it's going to make it very important to have employees allocated correctly among an employer's plans for the purposes of whenever OFCCP audits those. I hope this today has helped you as a federal contractor of goods and services with multiple establishments understand how to allocate employees among your various plans.